My name is Philip. I am 10 and I attend St. Petersburg Primary School in Russia. I am in the 4th grade. I live with my parents who've been married for over 12 years now, and I want to narrate a little secret I found out about my dad and my headmistress. My dad works with a law firm just very close to Moscow. He never gets to spend time with us because of the distance he has to drive back home, so he works all week, and the only time we see him is over the weekend. Whenever he is coming home, I always wanted him to get me an iPad, which he has always failed to deliver, but promised to get it for me whenever I can come out tops in my forthcoming exams. On this very day, while in school, I was summoned to the headmistress's office to talk about my maths performance, and they requested to see my parents because I haven't really done well in that aspect, and they needed to inform them to give me extra coaching at home. My mum is a nurse and was on the morning shift, so my dad had to make time to see my headmistress. On arriving at my school, my dad happened to know my headmistress, Miss Claire, very well. And as a matter of fact, they had attended the same high school. Further details confirmed that my dad took Miss Claire, the headmistress, to the prom. But let me skip you the details. The reunion was so cool that they probably spent the whole time catching up rather than talking about the issue on the ground. And just before she came up with the issue, my dad got an emergency call to report to the office with immediate effect. I felt a little relief because deep down, I never wanted that meeting to happen because it will further ruin my chances of getting the iPad I have always wanted from my dad. They afterwards exchanged their cell phone numbers and rescheduled the meeting for some other time. While feeling the pressure and further trying to work on my maths to score higher, I had a feeling something wasn't right after all, and my instincts never play tricks on me. My dad, who spends almost 80% of his week at work, took a 3-month leave just to stay at home. And he was always out, and the headmistress stays away from the school more times than I have ever seen her do since I started there. So one day, I decided to investigate the issue. Lo and behold, I saw my dad's car a few blocks away from the school. And just before I could look across the road, I saw Miss Claire, my headmistress, entering the car and the both of them driving away. I let them take the head start and then decided to follow them. I boarded a taxi and followed them up to where they were going. Arriving at the place, it was a fine restaurant and it pretty much looks like a date. I was really worried and upset. Miss Claire is a single lady who, at her age, might be really desperate for a husband, and this raised my concern for my mum. Thinking about it well, I know my dad is smart enough to make the right choice, but then I figured it was my shot to getting what I want. So I decided to get all the evidence I could, being really naive, and then headed back and waited by his car. When he got out with her looking all romantic, and then they saw me, they knew it was game time. I know how smart my dad is because he's a lawyer, but I wasn't interested in listening. All I could think was how I was going to tell Mum what was going on. I got home, and just before I could reach out to Mum, he came initiating that father and son moment. And just before I could express my disappointment, he handed me the iPad I had always desired in an attempt to keep me from telling Mum. Remembering how much I really wanted the iPad, I decided to play by his rules. But for how long, I can't tell. But I am so happy I have gotten a bait to negotiate with.